Progress is being made on the drift van. With that cutout at the back, you can see we've actually got the rear wheel in the centre of that wheel arch, which is good. So we've got to account for the tyre, the drift tyres up here. So we've got the thickness of that to account for, hence why there's a gap above there. So with this sort of setup, I reckon that with the tyre on there, that's going to sit right on top of the tyre, which is good, it's what we want. Now the suspension is maxed out, max height at the moment, so the springs are fully stiffened down, so that's sort of the maximum height that you're going to get out of the suspension. And with the tyre, I reckon that's pretty good. We've got some adjustability there, so if we end up cutting this arch, which we're probably going to have to do with the new arches, we can always drop the suspension down with some softer springs, and that will just close up that gap, which is good. So we've got adjustability there, and we can also mess with the height of the body as well with custom body mounts. So that's all good. So this cutout at the back has worked out pretty well. You can see the bumper hides it quite well. It's just gone to the bottom of the doors, which is quite nice. Show the inside as well. But yeah, that cutout's worked out really well. I had to trim a bit of the bumper off as well, because that was sort of protruding into that area, so I've just trimmed that back, and now that slides over that rear gearbox section quite nicely, which is good. But now we're running into an issue at the front. As you saw in that last little clip, I managed to put 4 screws into here, so now this front bulkhead section is all attached together and nice and solid, so don't have to worry about making a custom bracket that ties that all in together to this top plate here. This top plate here is catching on the front of the body. I've got the bumper on now, so we get the back lined up, there you go, and it's actually catching on the front. You can see it's a little bit higher, and it's just catching on this sort of bumper part here, and it's that part there, and we can't trim that back because there'll be a big hole in this section here, so we can't trim that back, so we're going to have to cut that plate back using the Dremel again. Just slice that off until we're happy with the fit. I would like to keep those holes because they're body mounts possibly, but if not, I can always move the holes back. But yeah, so I'm going to slice that off and see if we can get this body to fit on properly, and then we can move on. I had to take the smallest amount of that front top plate off with the Dremel, and it's actually sitting down now at a decent level. So I can see a problem just here. So when these front wheels are turning, they're going to start to hit the front of the bumper and the wheel arch here. So I do want the body to sit a bit further forward, but that's fine because we can raise it up and shift it a bit further forward, so that's not a problem. But I'm going to end up cutting this out anyway, arching this over, so the arch is probably going to run all the way around there. So I'm going to have to cut that corner off, but I knew that I was going to have to do that anyway. But I might have to lose that mounting point for the front bumper anyway. But there is 2 mounts on the inside, so that's not a problem either. But yeah, the body is actually sitting down now, so None of this is meant to go together. This body is not meant to go on this chassis, so there's going to be problems that I'm going to run into, but it is at a decent level now, which is good. Because I want to paint these wheels, I don't want to put the drift tyres on yet, so I'm going to take these off and put some standard, probably the wheels and tyres from the Mini off there onto here, and just get a rough idea of how a set of wheels and tyres are going to sit, and then we can start to think about camber, because I want to add quite a bit of camber to it, so it's got that kind of stance look to it. So a couple of other things that I might do whilst I've got some time is lower this servo mount. You can see it's got a servo saver on there, and it's sitting up quite high. That angle is quite steep. There is quite a lot of slop in the front suspension, so can't really see it now, but there's quite a lot of slop in the steering and in the arms and everything, so I might try and tighten that up, and then I'm going to try and make some custom links to add some negative camber. So at the back we have got a bit of adjustment at the back, so I don't need to worry about that. You can see the link just there. We've got no adjustment at all, so I might need to make a couple of custom links for that. And we can remove this plate here on the upright, because I assume that's for the anti-roll bar, which travels across underneath there and back down there, and that just stops body roll. So we can remove that, and we can add a bit more camber, because if that was to stay there it would start contacting the chassis. So yeah, a couple more things to do, and then I think I'm going to leave it at that, and then we can think about custom body mounts and then some other bits.